Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're jumping into something I know many of you grapple with. Really unlocking your ability to speak English and finding that fluency.
Yeah, moving beyond just knowing the words.
Exactly. We've pulled together some, really practical material that kind of cuts through the usual advice. It's focused on building confidence, building skills in a way that feels hopefully achievable.
Absolutely. Because we know, many of you have studied English for years. You probably have a good grasp of grammar, vocabulary.
You do well on tests, maybe.
Right. But then you go to speak and that anxiety just floods in. You feel tongue-tied. Maybe your mind just goes blank.
Yep. And that fear of making a mistake can be pretty paralyzing.
Totally.
So that's what we're tackling. Our mission here is to pull out some clear, actionable steps you can actually use, like starting today, wherever you are.
It's about shifting away from those traditional methods that often build anxiety.
And instead focusing on how you can naturally weave English into your life. And crucially, transforming how you think about English.
That mindset piece is huge.
It really is. The core idea is moving English from being a subject you study to being a tool you actually live with. Okay, so let's dig in.
Right. Let's start with that foundation, your mindset. It's really powerful how our internal chatter shapes what we can do.
Isn't it? If you're constantly telling yourself, oh, English is so hard, or I'll never speak well.
Then that belief becomes a real barrier. It's kind of how our brains work, Repeated thoughts, positive or negative, they carve these pathways.
So you have to consciously choose the positive ones to build a new default setting almost.
Exactly. And the sources really emphasize using positive affirmations actively.
Things like, English is simple. I can learn it. I am improving every day.
Now, that might sound a bit simplistic, maybe a little woo-woo to some.
Yeah, I get that. But the idea is the consistent repetition and really trying to believe them, that can start to rewire how your brain sees the challenge.
But how do you make yourselves believe it, especially if you've felt frustrated for a long time? That's the tricky part, isn't it?
It is. And it's not like flipping a switch overnight. It's more about gentle, consistent reinforcement.
Start small. Even if you don't fully buy English is simple right off the bat, just saying it starts to chip away at those old negative tracks.
Like planting a seed, maybe, while the negative thoughts are weeds you need to pull.
Good analogy. And this directly fights that really damaging negative self-talk. Things like, my English is terrible, or I just can't speak English.
Right. And the reframing is so important. Instead of my English is bad, maybe try, okay, I'm learning.
Or swap, I can't speak English for, I'm getting better every single day.
It's subtle, but it shifts the focus from a fixed state to, growth and potential.
And to make the point about mistakes being normal, the material uses a great comparison.
Ah, yes, the child learning to walk.
Think about it. A toddler falls down constantly, they wobble, they look clumsy.
But they don't judge themselves. They just get back up. No fear of failure baked in yet.
Exactly. Mistakes are just expected. Part of the deal. Learning English is just the same. Every little stumble, every mispronounced word, every grammar slip, it's just a step.
Okay, so we're working on that internal environment first, cultivating positivity. Now, how do we bring English into the external environment? Especially if you're not in, say, London or New York.
Right, because that's a big one. People think, I have to live there to get fluent.
It's a really common myth.
And the sources show how you can actually build your own English-rich world wherever you are. It's about consciously putting it into your daily life.
So what are some practical ways? The ideas are pretty straightforward, actually.
One of the easiest. Change the language settings on your phone, your computer, the apps you use all the time.
To English.
To English. Think how often you glance at your phone or click around on your laptop.
All day long.
That constant low-level exposure to English words, even for simple commands, it just seeps in. It trains your brain without you really trying. Passive learning that builds up.
Makes sense. Constant, gentle immersion. Okay, what about thinking in English? That sounds harder.
It can feel daunting at first, yeah. Like, my thoughts are too complex.
Right. Do I have to translate my deepest philosophies into beginner English?
No, definitely not. The key is to start really small, simple, everyday stuff, your internal monologue.
Like when you wake up.
Yeah. Think, okay, time to get up, or I need to brush my teeth. When you're making coffee, think, I am making coffee, stepping outside. It's sunny today.
So narrating your life silently.
Pretty much. It feels deliberate at first, maybe a bit clunky, but stick with it and it slowly becomes more automatic. You start bypassing that translation step from your native language.
Taking a shortcut in your brain. Okay. And then there's talking to yourself out loud.
Yep. This one might make people feel a bit silly initially.
I can see that. Talking to the mirror.
But it's incredibly effective because there's zero pressure. Stand in front of the mirror, have a little chat. Hello, how are you today? I'm doing okay. Got a busy day.
Feeling good.
Feeling good, whatever. There's no one judging you. It's a safe space to just try forming sentences, Get your mouth used to making the sounds. Builds confidence for real conversations.
Okay. And I like this next one, labeling things. Seems so basic.
It is basic, but powerful. Grab some sticky notes, label things in your house, your office.
Door, window, mug.
Exactly. Table, chair, computer. But don't just stick the label on. Read it aloud.
Ah, okay.
And maybe even make a simple sentence. This is a book, pointing at it. The book is on the table. This is my cup. I drink tea from this cup.
So you're connecting the object, the word, and saying it.
Precisely. It builds that direct link in your brain. Object word. No translation needed after a while. It trains automatic recognition.
Right. So mindset sorted, environment enriched. Now we actually have to, speak to other people, maybe.
And this is where the fear often comes roaring back, right?
Yeah.
Especially around grammar.
Oh, yeah. The grammar police in your head.
Totally paralyzing for so many people. But think back to how kids learn their first language.
The walking analogy again, kind of.
Exactly. They don't start with grammar books.
Yeah.
They listen, they copy, they make tons of mistakes.
But they communicate.
Yeah.
And the grammar sorts itself out over time through just using it.
We need to give ourselves that same freedom with English. The sources really push for focusing on useful everyday sentences first, not getting tangled up in complex rules.
So practical phrases over perfect tenses, initially.
Pretty much. Start with simple stuff you can use right away. I am eating. She's going to the shop. They're playing outside.
Things you actually see or do.
Right. And just repeat those patterns. You absorb the structure naturally without agonizing over the rules behind it. It's learning by doing.
And a big part of that is listening, really listening to native speakers and then imitating them.
Yes. Not just understanding the words, but how they say them, the rhythm, the tune of the sentence.
Like shadowing.
Kind of. Hear someone say, maybe on a show or podcast, I'm going to the market. Try saying it right after them. Exactly the same way. I'm going to the market.
Mimicking the intonation and stuff.
Yeah. It helps your brain soak up the natural flow, the pronunciation quirks, the way words link together, things textbooks struggle to teach. It's the music of the language.
Okay. Now, the material also talks about connecting practice to daily routines. Not finding extra time, but using the time you already have.
This is key for making it stick. You already have routines. Waking up, getting ready, eating, commuting.
All opportunities.
Every single one. Use that self-talk we mentioned. When you wake up, good morning, feeling okay today. Brushing teeth, I'm brushing my teeth now. Making breakfast, making some tea, smells good. Eating, I'm eating toast.
This seems almost too simple.
But doing it consistently activates the English in your brain. It makes it familiar, less foreign, builds that speaking muscle.
And there's a nice little dialogue example, isn't there? Like talking to your mom at breakfast.
Yes, a really simple, natural exchange. It goes something like, you say, good morning, Mom.
And Mom says, good morning, sleep well.
Yeah, slept great. What's for breakfast? Mom, eggs and toast. Want some tea?
Yes, please. Love tea in the morning.
Mom, here you go. You. Thanks. Smells lovely.
See, it's not Shakespeare. It's just normal conversation. That's the goal, right? Comfortable everyday interaction.
Exactly. Fluency isn't about complex sentences all the time. It's about handling these simple exchanges easily.
And then taking that outside the house,
Yeah.
into the real world, even for small things, like the market example.
Right. Even just buying vegetables becomes practice. You think, okay, need tomatoes. You go up to the stall.
Shopkeeper, can I help you?
You, yes. Do you have fresh tomatoes? Shopkeeper, sure, right here.
You, how much are they? Or how much per kilo?
Shopkeeper, $2 a kilo. You. Okay, I'll take 2 kilos, please. And some onions, too.
Shopkeeper, right, it's $5. Okay, here you go. Thank you. Have a good day.
Done. A simple transaction. But you used your English. You navigated a real situation. Each time builds a bit more confidence.
Okay, so wrapping this deep dive up, we've covered some really practical ground, I think. Starting with mindset positivity, affirmations, reframing negativity.
Then creating that English environment around you. Phone settings, thinking in English, talking to yourself, labeling things.
Then focusing on speaking, even imperfectly. Prioritizing communication over perfect grammar, like kids do.
Learning by imitating, listening actively.
And weaving it all into your daily life. Using routines, having those simple conversations, trying it out in the real world.
The big takeaway really is that fluency isn't this massive, scary mountain you climb only through intense study or moving abroad.
It's more like a path you build, stone by stone, through consistent, natural, everyday actions.
Yeah, shifting from seeing English as this hard subject to embracing it as just a tool you use.
So maybe the final thought for you listening is this. What's one small thing, like really small, you could change or add to your routine today? Right now.
Just one tiny step to start living your English learning instead of just studying it.
Think about how that one little action, maybe changing your phone language right now, or having that first awkward chat with the mirror tonight, how that could be the start. How these tiny things really do add up over time, building that confidence and ease you're looking for.